begin with the strategies of educational reforms. When we talk about strategies, we have to look into the process how one administration has reformed the education basing on the need of time. During the pre-Spanish era, it is the time when informal, practical, and theoretical education system was established, whose aim is survival, conformity, and acculturation, or acculturation, where the methods are show and tell, observation, trial and error, and imitation. During the Spanish era, it is the time where the government pursued the enactment of Education Decree of 1863 law. The access to education by Filipinos was later liberalized through enactment of Educational Decree of 1863 and the provision for the establishment of at least one primary school for the boys and the girls in each town under the responsibility of the municipal government. It is also the time of the establishment of a normal school from male teachers under the supervision of the Jesuits. The Spanish schools started accepting Filipino students. It was during this time that the intellectuals Filipinos emerged. Here are the focus of the education system during this time. The teaching of catechism to natives. Spanish language is compulsory. Inadequate education because it was suppressed, limited, or controlled. Education is a privilege, not a right. Education for the elite and controlled by friars. The teaching of Christian doctrine, values, history, mathematics, agriculture, etiquette, singing, world geography, and Spanish history. During the First Republic, the education system highlighted curricular reforms, secularization of education, attention to natural science, improvement of higher centers of learning, lack of pedagogical skills, and irrelevant courses in curriculum whose primordial aims are love of country and of God. In the American period, the general aims of education system are teaching the democracy and separation of the church and state. The three educational types that were introduced are formal education, first public school, and English language. In the Commonwealth period, the educational aims are the development of moral character, civic conscience, vocational efficiency, and preparation of incoming independence using Filipino language. The role of teaching were to promote nationalism, values, moral character, personal discipline. During the Japanese occupation, the educational aims were to eradicate the old idea of reliance of Western nations, love of labor, military training, and health education on agriculture. They have introduced two educational types, the Nihongo language and vocational training. The methods of employing stress, dignity of manual labor, and emphasis vocational education. In the Third Republic, it was the introduction of the concept of academic freedom. Only universities established by the state, religious instructions in the public schools, creation of scholarship in the arts, sciences, and letters was for especially gifted citizens and for those who possess a certain level of capability for academic studies and are unable to afford the cost of education. The educational practices were focused on moral character, the quality of a person that guides his thinking, behavior, and relationships with other social concern and involvement, vocational efficiency, productivity, complete and adequate system of public education, and changes with the changing time and human being. The new society highlighted the Department of Education. It became the Department of Education and Culture in 1972, the Ministry of Education and Culture with the Education Act of 1982, the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports. Science and math subjects as well as English language and literature classes were taught in English while the rest were taught in Filipino. Bilingual policy was reiterated in 1987 Constitution of the Philippines. Its educational aims are love of country, develop moral character, self-discipline, science and technology, and vocational efficiency. It pledges peace and order, economic development, employment and manpower, development, land reform, government reorganization, and social services. During the post-EDSA Republic, in the administration of President Corazon Aquino, it is stipulated in the 1987 Constitution that there should be a quality education at all levels. There should be free, complete education, scholarship grants, student loans, indigenous, OSY, non-formal adult citizens, PWD. The Constitution as a subject, particularly on patriotism and nationalism. The educational institution as supervised by the state and catering the needs of regional and sectorial needs such as academic freedom, courses, and teacher training. There were also laws that were imposed, such as Executive Order Number 117, the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports was changed into Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, or DECS. The Republic Act 6655 on May 26, 1988 for Pre-Public Secondary Educational Act of 1988. And the Republic Act number 7323 on February 3, 1992 for 15 to 25 years old employed students during Christmas break and summer vacation. In the administration of President Fidel V. Ramos, the government ensured full and unimpeded access by all to both primary and secondary schools is the most effective way of empowering ordinary people. Education reform must also develop a curriculum that is strong in science, mathematics, and language. It must include the enhancement of the conditions of teachers, both livelihood and work, vocational education, and technical training. In 1994, The creation of the Commission on Higher Education did not guarantee a marked improvement in the delivery of quality education in tertiary level. Its mandate is to regulate higher education institutions, including state universities and colleges, except institutions which are granted autonomous status. While in the administration of President Joseph Estrada, we have here the Executive Order number 46, the establishment of the Presidential Commission on Educational Reform. Section 1. Presidential Commission on Educational Reform under the office of the President, which shall be multi-sectoral body comprised of representatives from the government line agencies, the University of the Philippines, the Open University, University of the Philippines, public and private schools at all levels, teachers, the agriculture and industry sectors, the information technology sectors, state colleges and universities, and concerned sectors. Section 2. The structure. The Commission will be chaired by a person with outstanding record in education and of proven integrity, appointed by the President for the duration of the life of Commission. Members of the Commission will include the Secretary of Education, Culture and Sports, the Chairman of the Commission on Higher Education, the Director General of the Technical Education Skills and Development Authority, the Director General of National Economic Development Authority, DILG, DOST, the University of the Philippines, DOF, state colleges and universities, superintendent, public and private school teachers. In his term, the Educational Committee Chairman of the upper and lower houses will be invited to attend meetings ex officio, either personally or through representatives. There will be a secretariat headed by a full-time executive director for the purpose, housed within DECS and staffed by individuals seconded by DECS, CHED, and TESDA. The teaching of Christian doctrine, values, history, mathematics, agriculture, etiquette, singing, world geography, and Spanish history. Upgrading of computer classrooms, computing facilities, and internet access in all schools that meet eligibility standards for administering such programs. Expansion, modernization, and standardization of our vocational and technical institutions, especially polytechnic colleges and universities. Distance learning and continuing education programs for adults and out-of-school youth. The general aims of the administration of President Gloria Arroyo are the following: to prepare the succeeding generations to be globally competitive. The President has directed DepEd to adopt measures that would reverse the reported declines in English literacy among Filipinos. Upgrading of the teaching of mathematics and science in basic education. Revised BEC has been implemented since June 2002 and now focuses on the 5 learning areas: English, Science, Mathematics, Filipino, Makabayan, form the previous 8 per grade per year level. Science teaching has been given enough time allotment from 300 to 400 minutes each week to promote the culture of science among students. The number of mathematics laboratory has been likewise increased. About 600 teachers from both private and public schools have been trained on the new curriculum, and the full implementation of basic education curriculum. In the term of Benigno Aquino III, in June 24, 2010, Brother Armin Luistro became the Secretary of Education. In June 4, 2011, the K-12 was implemented. The K-12 curriculum can be described as learner-centered, inclusive, and developmentally appropriate, relevant, responsive, and research-based, contextualized, and global. Use of pedagogical approaches that are constructivist, inquiry-based, reflective, collaborative, and integrative. The K-12 curriculum adhere to the principle of mother tongue-based multilingual education. Use of spiral progression approach to ensure masteral of knowledge and skills in every level. Flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize, indigenize, and enhance the same based on their respective educational and social context. And here is the K-12 curriculum model. For kindergarten, we only have learning domains. For grades 1 to 6, we have core learning areas, mother tongue until grade 3, science starting grade 3, edukasyong pantahanan at pangkabuhayan starting grade 4. For grades 7 to 8, we have core learning areas and exploratory TLE. For grades 9 to 10, we have core learning areas plus elective TLE. For grades 11 to 12, we have science, math, English, contemporary issues, and specializations such as academic specialization, technical vocational specialization, and sports and arts specialization. The K-12 curriculum adheres the principle of mother tongue-based multilingual education. Use of spiral progression approach to ensure masteral of knowledge and skills in every level. Flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize, indigenize, and enhance the same based on their respective educational and social context. Republic Act 10533, known as Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, was signed into law by President Aquino on May 15, 2013. With the passage of this law, the K-12 basic education program was formalized. Republic Act 1057, or known as the Kindergarten Education Act. The K-12 basic education covers 6 years of primary education, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school. And here are the salient features of the K-12 curriculum. Strengthening early childhood education. This is the universal kindergarten. Making the curriculum relevant to learners through contextualization and enhancement. Building proficiency through language or by using mother tongue-based multilingual education. Ensuring integrated and seamless learning through spiral progression. And gearing up for the future. This is the senior high school. Pros of K-12. At par with international 12 years basic education. Pursue protective employment, entrepreneurship, and higher education studies. Graduates are expected to be equipped with 21st century skills. The cons of K-12. Sets a burden for average Filipino family. Basis of its implementation. Mastery of basic competencies is sufficient due to congested curriculum. Philippines is the only remaining country in Asia with a 10 years basic education program. The 7 learning areas of the core curriculum are languages, literature, communication, mathematics, philosophy, natural sciences, and social sciences. And here are the 3 tracks offered in senior high school. The academic, the technical vocational livelihood, and sports and arts. For grades 1 to 10, students will experience an enhanced context-based and spiral progression learning curriculum with the following subjects: Mother tongue, Filipino, English, Mathematics, Science, Araling Panlipunan, Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao, Music, Arts, Physical Education, Health, Edukasyong Pantahanan at Pangkabuhayan, and Technology and Livelihood Education. And here are the facts on K-12. The Universal Kindergarten implementation begins in the school year 2011 to 2012. The enhanced curriculum for grades 1 to 7 was implemented in school year 2012 to 2013. The K-12 was enacted into law last 2013. The curriculum for grades 11 to 12 was finished in 2014, and the continuation of the full blast of implementation of the K-12 curriculum was in 2015 to present. In the Duterte administration, the Learning Continuity Operational Plan with different learning delivery modalities was pursued by the Department of Education. Every student and teacher deserves to be treated with respect. Every student should have an opportunity to reach his or her individual potential. The challenge is to identify what should be the same in schools and what should be different. Thank you very much.